pick it versus a Magnus, it worked well, but Puppy did say he really well for them, and they just snowballed.
In the last round. So clearly Omni Alpha is a respected
Choose your hero.
Should do quite well versus the ET and the Omni Knight. And also another thing is, what's really good about Omni. Saving each other or the Alchemist whenever necessary.
Once they picked the Omni, you 100% had to have another burst damage hero than just the Storm. Like Lion is lockdown and Finger is quote-unquote burst damage, but against Oracle I don't think that's really reliable, because not only do you have the ult to save, but also your second spell just
10 seconds
makes them
remaining.
do no magic damage. So Storm Spirit jumps one guy, Ursa jumps the other.
5 seconds
Lion can maybe
remaining.
lock down the saves, but I think EG's the better team. I think they'll execute their draft better, but I fear for Na'Vi in the laning stage. Ursa's pretty damn good against Omni. Alchemist doesn't really threaten anything, so Magnus, a greedy offlaner, should have a pretty good time. Storm, even though he doesn't love playing against Ember in the mid game, pretty much free farms that mid lane too. So I'm afraid that this window where Alch is maybe 1,000, 2,000 gold from Radiance, he's just not going to be able to hit any creeps.
Right, raise your hoods and call it wizards. I want to see the hoods on as you make your guess. Wait a minute, hold on. A flashback before one more thing to think about. Yet again, an alchemist in the game. It is indeed an alchemist game.
It's an alchemist game.
Rich still freaking laughs out that every damn day. He just mentions it randomly.
All right, people.
Do we go with an Alchemist game or do we go with the 37-6% Storm?
It is an alchemist game, but it is not his game to win. So I'll go with EG here.
Very well. Well, maybe you at home has found the secret history of magics indeed. We've no more time to discuss the mortal realm. Take us to the fields of unending carnage. Toodaloo, enjoy the game. We shall return. Zazaran!
Thank you, Slacks.
Prepare
Yes, ladies and
for
gentlemen,
battle.
EG versus Na'Vi here for the best of 3. I'm OD Pixel, joined by Jenkins for this series, and what do we reckon? We're getting some sort of new heroes. The Omni Knight coming into play, something that we haven't seen any team touch.
No, we talked about it a bit. You said it. It's definitely solid against the Magnus. Puppy said it himself. It's a good Magnus counter. Good against the Void. Excellent with an Alchemist. It's a hero buff to give the strength to a strength hero. So if there's a game for it, this is the Omni Knight game. I actually like Navi's draft here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see it in practice and see what the Omni Knight can do. I mean, this is a thing, right? In sort of the metas, when a hero becomes incredibly popular, like the Magnus, do you think there are sort of like hidden answers that the teams just may have not touched because the hero, in a sense, and in the way it's been nerfed or balanced, isn't great, but it actually has a lot of potential against these heroes that are starting to crop up at high popularity?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I honestly think this is how the meta shifts, is through competitive matches like this. And what'll usually happen is you hit a point where, and I'm concerned that it might happen in this game for EG, where it's like you have this Ursa as a counter pick to the Omni to beat it in lane, and then maybe Ursa just sucks. Maybe Ursa's just worse in the current meta than Omni is in the current meta. And I mean, they're not even laning the matchup that they want.
The battle begins.
Omni is blocked.
They're going to start with the Alchemist on the top lane with the backup of Immersion on the support ET. Ilias as well, we'll see where he'll settle. I mean, do they sort of start as the tri lane with the pressure? I mean, Omni Knight on his own down here, is he happy to solo lane for a bit?
Yeah, definitely. Omni will be fine. See, what I'm concerned about is the Alchemist. You know, people would pick Ursa as an answer to the Alchemist, and so you're aggroing with him. So they're very confident that these supports can basically win the lane without any help, because Alch doesn't really provide much, to be honest.
Here we go. In the mid lane, Young G on his Ember against the GPK Storm. See GPK have some pretty impressive performances so far. Storm the other day though was off to an explosive start, but did start to fall flat in his face, so we'll see what he's able to do with it this time around. Top lane, aggression onto Immersion. That's going to come in first blood there, EG. As Immersion getting a little too close, and sure, they've got a tri-lane on the aggressive Na'Vi, but the tri-lane of EG is also very good at turning and getting kills itself.
Yeah, man. Oh, Ilias too. I don't think Crit has the stunner. Still a lot of harass. I mean, like you said, like, this is a hard lane to play into. I mean, Ursa's a hero you would pick previously to tri-lane. Now they have an Enchantress with a creep, with a Wildkin against 2 melee heroes. Man, this is tough. And then Lion's a stunner. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, we'll see what Na'Vi is able to make happen with the idea behind this tri-lane. At the least, if it's able to secure the farm at the moment, it doesn't look to be it. He's only got 1 CS, and again, Immersion stepping forward, Swipe start to stack up. He's going to be fortunate enough to not be in the reach of the crit and the stun this time, so he will live. But we're seeing already the farm for Arteezy. 8 for 3. 2 CS on Crystallite. Jump over the wall to Immersion. Will be saved there. He's able to slow for the
That is what you sound like.
Immersion out of it. But it does seem to be a rough start for this aggro tri-lane of Na'Vi.
It does, but you know, Beast Coast is a team that actually does this frequently. And I think one thing you can take solace in is the fact that you always have the triangle to stack for the Alchemist. Like, you can always back up to that and just go farm. Like, he's right by the best place on the map to farm as a carry. So, worst case scenario, he can go there if this lane goes extremely south, which it's pretty rough so far.
On the bottom lane, of course, with all the action being up there with the 3 versus 3, we're getting this 1v1 between Pasha and Ramses. Mag and Omni Knight. At the moment, we're seeing Mag having the CS advantage, and sure, Omni's still farming, but I guess this is expected. What with the Empower, Magnus is going to have the better time and the easier time at getting the denies in this lane.
Yeah, I think a big thing there too is just that Omni is a relatively weak hero. Oh, Alchemist, be careful, buddy.
The stun into the X flight, heading over with the impetus as well. Trying to run Crystallize into this one. Can they save him? They can't. Ilias cannot hold back Arteezy in time as he finishes Crystallize off with an Earth Shot. And this top lane just going from bad to worse for Na'Vi.
Honestly, I respect the decision. I think it's a very interesting choice to try to go for this. But I think if you're EG, you're very confused. You're like, they're taken away, but we have an Ursa. Like, we would maybe aggro into them. I think you're very stoked about this if you're an EG fan.
Oh, it's easy. Getting the free farm for now. And as you said, we'll see if they do start to create some stacks for Crystallize, start to build up that recovery mechanism for this Alchemist. He's struggling so far in these first few minutes of it.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to stop this Enchantress from getting her creeps. Usually, if you can block the camps, you're fine. She's not that big of a deal. But with Elder Titan dying so early, she just has free reign on those camps.
And mid lane, at the moment, pretty even CS between Young G and GPK. Slight lead for GPK on the Storm. 23-4 against the 19-for-2 fly. I'm fan of the river. So Ilias will try and chase him down. They do hit him with the stomp, so if they can get position for the further bit of burst. Fly pops the Fairy Fire. He's also going to have another one in a few seconds. And even at that, he's able to get out of reach of the 2 of them. They just can't kill the Ench. This is the power of the Enchantress, right? It's a very hard kill to find. Doesn't matter, just level 2, just popping the heal, walking away. Unless you've got a significant amount of burst, Fly's going to be able to do that every time.
Hero that loves building Fairy Fires and has the early stick as well. He's holding the charges, so really not much of a kill threat there, and he knew it. So we do have level 6 now on Young G. He can't, or sorry, he's level 5 actually. I'm crazy, but he will have level 6 soon. And both of these heroes are relatively decent at rotating. I think we're going to need to see that more so from the Ember Spirit here to break down this game.
Oh, look at this bottom lane. It's actually started to go pretty one-sided now. 35 and 11 on Ramses compared to the 18 of 2 of Pasha. This match is nearly doubling the farm. Stacks coming up, but this is going to be scouted out by EG, so they know the status of this area of the map.
If EG can take these stacks,
they've got the mag, haven't they?
They've got the mag, and they have Storm as well. Oh,
Man, Navi's got to protect these or clear these up sometime soon. It's going to be hard though with the low levels on Crystallize, just the 1 point and the spray right now.
There's going to be a big fight for these stacks very soon. This is the entire game plan for both teams at the moment.
You think there's no way that EG just let this go?
No, absolutely no way. EG knows that too, so that's over.
He's going to be able to push Crit out of the area. Crit falls out, stands in the left of the denies the creeps, won't be able to make it. Ilias takes him out with the final Purifying Flames and Duke.
Okay, so still saving it for the Alk. I was thinking maybe the Amber Spirit's going to take it just to prevent EG from getting it, but I think Alk needs the help. Crystallize is having a rough time. He really needs to get those stacks, and honestly, maybe even take solo XP if he can. Get that level 6.
GPK also able to get lucky with the power runes. DD will be his there. Look at Youngji's no vision on the high ground, and Youngji's playing fast and close to it. Over here, what's the initiation from Crit? He's got the remnant out in time though. They didn't quite have enough control. Youngji is able to make it away there with the 1 charges and the TP back to base to refuel his bottle. Well, that was living on the edge there, Youngji. It looked like he was a goner.
Very close to disastrous, especially because there's a siege creep mid, so they just take the tower if he dies there.
There we go. EG starting to push over towards these stacks. That stack's been
Radiant's middle tower
brought down
is
a
under
little bit,
attack.
so GPK could actually clear this pretty easily with a few rounds. As RTZ, GPK and Crit, yeah, EG, they're going to be able to get the lion's share of this stack.
Yeah, they know the strat, you know, the Beast Coast classic. This is exactly what Beast Coast do, except a lot of the NA teams, the SA teams won't contest like EG will, but
Where are you going?
you know, EG, they sniff this out.
Now looking towards Crystallize. RTZ in fly. They're not going to want to dive in though. Still knows backup sitting behind him. Bottom lane, Ramsey's get the stew off, popping the RP as well, just to make sure that further purification cannot come out from Pasha, as Ramses will be able to keep himself alive because of it.
Man, he is so farmed on Magnus. I did not think this was going to be such a Magnus favored lane. Like, Omni typically destroys melee heroes, right? So I think it just, there's definitely a player skill difference there that's happening, as well as Magnus has just been buffed and Omni Knight has been weak for a long time now. So not the great laner that he used to be with the low cooldown on his Q.
We'll see how Na'Vi can find ways to pick Crystallize's game back up. He's going to head to the jungle and the top lane. Now with Arteezy having the serious levels, level 6 on the Ursa, it's a very scary place for the Alk to be. He's sort of just got to stick to the jungle now. This is going to give a lot of space for EG to make the most of it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There. Keeps him covered safely with the stomp.
I thought Ilias might die for that, but nah, Crit doesn't know what he's walking up into, so he doesn't want to be too aggressive. Just farming now.
So GPK going for that straight Orchid Rush again before the bots. Feeling that he's having a pretty good opening to this game, so just getting that silence online before any sort of defensive items are complete by the cause of Na'Vi.
Very greedy build, I would say. Definitely super punishable, but with how the game is going right now, they definitely have the space for it. Both of these two side lane cores are almost impossible to push out of lane.
So Youngji and Ilias coming out with the smoke movement. They'll find Crit. They will take him. Crit, it's going to make him work for it. In fact, Crit with these disables is buying time. There are 2 more members of EG over here. They're not actually going to come across, and as it is, Youngji and Ilias just don't have the control to kill him. They will turn and look towards the bigger killer's dead though. Ramses with the steering cross coming in the stun. He should still fall here, and he will do so.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Turns over towards the Ilias kill and will find it, so gets one. See if they can get anything more here. GPK with a bit more mana left to play with, but doesn't want to go back.
Radiant's
in.
top
Wants
tower
Youngji
is
not
under
knowing what
attack.
could be hidden behind him. But also, all things said and done, Na'Vi actually able to find a big kill on Ramses, just coming a little too close to the action whilst he was very low on HP.
Yeah, a little surprising. He was kind of playing like he had more backup. I mean, between a level 4 Lion and Magnus without RP, they don't have much damage really. Like, those are really beautiful double stuns from Crit.
Radiant structures are
still
fortified.
playing 2v2, and I think the
Radiant's
Na'Vi 2 are
top
a lot
tower
stronger.
is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Boundaries coming up, Youngji in immersion, making sure that GPK is not able to get the refill on these. G, so we're going to try and grab this. We'll be able to do so. Extra space made there by immersion with the stomp. Why is this game? Youngji just going straight for yours. She sees that oblivious
Radiant's
self out.
top tower
GPK
is
knows
under
that
attack.
he needs some way of removing that silence ASAP.
DD on GPK. I think this is probably the time to consider going for a smoke. I don't think you want to let Alchemist farm like this. Not when his game was so rough in the early game. They might be waiting for an item. They might be waiting for like Blink on Mag, maybe the Orchid on Storm.
Double damage!
Very soon they want to start pressuring, I think, on EG.
Radiant's middle tower is under
The
attack.
drums done on RTZ. He's very ready to run at Heroes.
Dire's
His mid lane as well.
structures are
Fly and
fortified.
GPK with the DD making some quick
Whoa,
work
what'd
on
I
this tier
miss?
1 tower. Quick dodge of the stomp. Young G has come in to start to build up a defense with immersion. So there's enough to push GPK
Radiant's
away.
top
GPK
tower
wanting
is
to
under
make sure
attack.
they
Radiant's
can
top
find a
tower
lock on the side.
Radiant's
He's gonna be able to
middle
get it as
tower
well.
has
Tower
fallen.
down on the mid. More money into the pocket of GPK, which will continue to push him very close now towards the Orchid.
So normally, you don't really want to take these 2 towers as your first 2 towers in the game, but there's an Alchemist on the enemy team, so you want to take those Ancients away, you want to take the Triangle away from him, because that is the last beacon of hope for a team to farm, and that's all you need as an Alchemist. You farm there for 10 minutes, you're huge. So this lets them now move
Radiant
into
are scanning.
the Na'Vi jungle, like you would in a typical game, and then Alchemist doesn't even feel safe in his Triangle.
He's going to step over to see what's going on around here. There's a lot of members of EG. Got to be a little cautious. Immersion now joining forces with him to try and push EG out of this area. But as we've seen, they've already cleaned up all 3 camps. Start making the move as the 3 of them. There's Ramses again. The farm that he has. Very beefy on the Magnus. Can just show up in lanes. Not worrying too much about any members of Na'Vi doing anything about it.
here now.
Be able to take that route. It's going to be a regen. One of the dream ones here for GPK. We'll see if he's able to make some sweet plays with it. They're actually going in onto Young G. He's going to throw it. See if they want to try and chase this. The impetus will do a little bit of damage, but nothing to threaten too much. Ilias also by his side, so no dives to come in, but still just controlling Na'Vi. EG continuing to keep all 5 members here just farming aggressively on Na'Vi's half of the map.
Regeneration.
I really love this play to... Oh, I hear Storm.
He's just going creeps.
Oh, he's just killing some creeps. Oh, he's got the regen, so he's using his mana. I really love their call to just stay in the triangle, because think about if you're an Alchemist in this game, you're farming your own jungle. With those 2 towers gone, like, you feel like you're out in the wilderness.
It's so tough for the out. And look at these 2 deep wards as well from EG, having one in the jungle, one over towards the entry point of the triangle. Like, they're going to be able to catch these movements. It's so hard for the out to get out farm without EG knowing exactly where he is.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Fine crit.
Roshan has fallen into the tower.
Oh, the space. It's space and a half. Oh, it's easy now with the Aegis.
EG is just playing so fast, honestly. Like I mean, it looks like crit is running in and dying, but this is something that every top tier support says that people don't do enough and that you should do, is sitting there
Radiant's
and
courier
soaking
has
smoke.
been killed.
You know, and he's done it twice now. And just make them work. Spells.
See bottom lane. GPK instantly out.
Radiant's
Ready to
top
start
tower
making
is under
plays with that
attack.
fast Orchid.
Very, very good way to kill both the Alchemist and the Omni if they're out. I think both of these heroes have so much effective HP. Without a Lion, it's basically impossible to kill them without that Orchid. It gives them a lot of options for killing people if it gets out.
Do at least have
That is what you sound like.
Radiant
as
structures
long as
are fortified.
Pasha or Iliasandra
Radiant's
wants to go on,
bottom
they'll have
tower
some
is under
some
attack.
methods of keeping the target of EG alive. Have a nice rune here for GPK, grabbing the arcanes. Now with the arcane, the Orchid very ready to go. And a little bit of an adaptation to when we saw GPK play the Storm the other day. Went for a greedier build. They did suffer. They did lose
Radiant's
that match this
bottom
time.
tower
Orchid
is under
straight
attack.
into the BKB at the moment. That's what he's got queued up. He wants to make sure that he just doesn't, he can continue to play aggressive with this Orchid rush without the threat of feeding his life away.
Radiant's bottom tower is
BKB
under
definitely
attack.
makes sense. I feel like not wanting to tread is just innately greedy, but BKB, if he
Radiant's
just goes in on
bottom
the
tower
Oracle,
has
it just sets
fallen.
up for the Magnus to hit this huge RP, because he's going to be so disruptive. Young G? I crit can't solo kill him. There's no way.
No, not that.
I think crit's probably going to die here. They see the courier.
Oh no. Oh. See, Crystallized getting saved here by the false promise. I mean, very hard for Na'Vi to really get a catch onto EG's members until EG comes over. Doesn't want to go with the side chains onto Fly. But Artor pops the ult. Status resistance, meaning that there's no chance of Na'Vi committing onto him for those few seconds. Crystallize, he's still sticking around to try and farm it. Flight, able to come over, takes that big creep away. ZG again just sort of terrifying Na'Vi and pushing them right back towards their base.
EG, once again, is doing such a fantastic job at always just running at
Radiant's
the
middle
farm and
tower
taking
is
farm
under
away from him.
attack.
Like, you don't see anybody on the EG side of the map farming. Because if you farm versus an Alchemist, you can have 10 Midases, and he's going to farm faster than you. That cannot be the game plan versus an Alch. You have to take farm away from him.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know when the last time a neutral creep on EG's half of the map died. They're just playing fully in the faces of Na'Vi. And look at the warding, it's just the amount of wards and sentries on Na'Vi's half of the map that EG have placed down. It's just made it a real nightmare
Radiant's
for
bottom
Na'Vi.
tower is under attack.
Stop GPK from going down.
Radiant's
Na'Vi.
bottom tower
But a
is
big
under
catch
attack.
here on the storm.
Yeah, he really has no way of dealing with getting just instantly chained by the Ember.
Radiant's
He
top
doesn't
tower
have any
is under
effective
attack.
HP right now, so he just dies to that. So getting punished a little bit for the greedy build there. Alchemist finally has his Radiance. But not much of the map to farm is the problem. That kill does help.
Yeah, where he does farm, he's going to need to have backup constantly close by.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's structures
We
are
see tier
fortified.
2s now starting to get pressured by EG. RTZ still got time to work with the Sages.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Done on Ramses to really buff up this fighting potential of EG right now.
I've always been a big fan of this build. I think it was
Radiant's
like
top
Seb
tower
that did it
has
first
fallen.
way back in the day, where you don't go for like the immediate blink on the offlane
Dire's
mag.
bottom
You just play
tower
to
is
5-man,
under
you play to
attack.
fight, and it's like, well, I'm gonna hit an RP because you have to fight into us because we're running at your towers. And then eventually, of course, you do need the blink. But this is just really nice for 5-manning, which is
Radiant's
exactly what
top
you want to do. They
tower
want
is
to
under
take towers.
attack.
Oh, midnight. Gets out the start, straight away, Pasha. Buffing Young G up, allowing him to continue chasing on to fly, but the heals are too strong with the silence on the Ember. Young G cannot come any further.
So the 5-man of Na'Vi does seem like it's a little bit difficult to break just because they have so much save. I don't think they can kill EG, but I think they can survive EG. As long as Ramses isn't there and doesn't have his blink. He has a casual glove of haste. I wonder if he's actually going to turn that into something.
Radiant's
Midas
bottom
would be-
tower is under attack.
Very interesting.
I feel like that was probably just one bit picked up in the laning stage early on, right?
Yeah, probably. Maybe he was going to finish the treads and then he's like, oh, you know what, this is going to be a really good mech game. It's going very well. Let's 5-man, let's take towers.
This is one of these as well, right? It could feel like if you are going for the
Radiant's
greed,
bottom
you just
tower
missed that
is under
attack speed,
attack.
and a little bit can make all the difference for just the feel
Radiant's
of the hero.
bottom tower has fallen.
Smoke up from Na'Vi.
Always crit, man. He's always standing in front. It's so annoying.
They just can't catch EG off guard in this situation. Smoke's put to an end. EG moves over from the bottom lane towards the middle. This is where the last tier 2 stands for Na'Vi. I mean, we see these games as well where a team very quickly gets like one tier 2 and it's like, damn, they can go for the outpost. They got it before the 20-minute mark. In this game, EG's borderline taking all 3 of the tier 2s before the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, very not common, but you know, once again, I think it all goes back to that aggro try lane. Just generally, if you fail an aggro try, it always looks like this, no matter what, because you have no recourse. You can't go back to the safe lane and farm because there's a huge Magnus there. You can't throw 3 under-leveled heroes against a huge Magnus and expect it to work. Like, aggro tries are very hit or miss.
Radiant's top tower is under
Let's
attack.
see what they can catch with their smoke. We didn't see Na'Vi have too much luck with theirs. We'll see if EG has a better shot than G.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The Enchantress, the stun catches the two of them. You're throwing the stun away of Arteezy. Stop Arteezy from getting on top of the has come out. We'll give some safety for now. For Na'Vi, but now
Radiant's
coming to
courier
an end.
has been
EG
killed.
just going to push on. The stacks building up on Crystallizes. Arteezy commits with the BKB. Alchemist saves the final moment by the false promise, but Ramses comes in with the RP onto the two of them. Crystallizes taking a lot of damage through this false promise. So we'll almost certainly pop at the end of the night. The heals were enough. The purification Crystallizes does it for Young G will be be healed. The Purifying Flame starting to kick in. Youngji will remain alive. Ramses is trying to chase and hunt him down. No remnants left on Youngji. With the phase boost, he's got a fair bit of movement speed to continue to run away from this.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Shockwave. Won't catch him here. They'll find him with a slow bonded,
you and I.
Youngji, 2 seconds till remnant. Can he get his way out? Go for the second, but didn't throw a remnant out before he went up in the York. Remnant coming after as he misses the opportunity to maybe jump away, and will mean that he does end up going down at the end of it all.
Just everything on cooldown for him there. But man, that fight just proves to me, like if I'm in this game, and I'm EG, it's just like, okay, we have to focus the Oracle. That Oracle out combo, how many hits of Fury swipes do we see Ursa? It was like the 10 you know,
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Pasha's able to come in with the safety, and now GPK has committed a lot of mana for this. The root's going to fly over. Crystallize putting up the concoction. GPK with the bold charges and the one charges will have enough to get away. Stomp out onto his crit, but no follow through.
Man, this double save lineup with the Alk is looking like it could possibly be enough in this game. Especially with the Heaven's Halberd coming out too. He is going to be a pain to kill. Because remember, that amplifies his regen. With an Oracle who also amplifies the regen.
And look at Arteezy's build because of this. He says, right, I'm getting Nullifier, right? Is that the plan here?
Yeah, I guess so. Nullifier, what does this take off here? I guess the Guardian Angel, that GA? The GA.
That's the big one, right? It's going to allow him to at least continue doing damage through the GA.
Yeah. I think you could take off maybe like the Oracle W? The Oracle Q.
Well, you take off the Purifying Flames.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. So
there's going to be no instant heals.
Right, no heal whatsoever. Actually, I think that's probably what it's for. It's probably for mostly the Purifying Flames. And the GA, yeah, it's a good nullifier game. It's like, it's weird at first just because it's like, well, the Oracle ulti's still going to work, obviously, and so is the... Sure. You can't nullify the Omni W, but I guess that's also true. If the Omni puts his W on somebody before the nullifier's not going to last any duration.
No. Right?
Because the status resistance.
The status resistance would affect the duration of the nullifier.
Yeah, so who goes on who in this game matters a lot.
Yeah. We'll see how much effect it does have. I mean, you can definitely feel I feel like it's going to do something, you know, for Arteezy without a doubt. It doesn't need 100%. Yeah, you know, especially when the team fights, it's not a 5v5, you find someone alone. The nullifier will be able to tear them apart.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you jump the Oracle with the Orchid and then just jump somebody else with Arteezy with the nullifier, I think that's a very solid way to play team fights.
I've got the full ether lens on Crit, and now an additional way to try and get the catch on these backliners, these heroes with the saves.
They're afraid though. They know he's baiting. I mean, who stands this close without a full team behind him? But he's kind of on his own. He's just bluffing.
Yeah, Roshan's up again. So AG quickly moving into the pit. I don't see any lineup with an Ursa with this sort of lead. It's not going to be contested at all. Very quick Roshan, which will push our team. 1400 to go, and it'll be there. Cheese for GPK and Aegis for Arteezy for this next fight.
It's the nice thing about having an Ursa on your team, or it can actually be a downfall as well. Like if you take Roche so early that early on into the game you get these like refresher shard, cheese Roches, where if this goes the other way and Na'Vi takes the next Roche, you're gonna regret having an Ursa on your team.
Are scanning.
So for some from Na'Vi can find anything.
Radiant's
It's going to be
top
difficult
tower
though,
is under
fighting into the
attack.
Aegis and Cheese. Young G maybe seeing if he can find a snipe on the back lines. Crit.
Dire's
Not gonna
middle
be
tower
found. Young G
is
gets
under
back.
attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Up in the ult. Ottoman plays for now with the sleep, but he's out of there. They got what they came for. Tier 3 tower taken down at the 24-minute mark. Na'Vi trying with the chase. The all set up from Young G. Arteezy continuing to run. Pasha buffing up Crystallize, but EG already backing up and no further way for Na'Vi to chase. They do have the Blink Dagger on Crystallize, so an extra bit of follow-up, especially if Young G's able to get in with the slight chains. Crystallize will have a solid chance at following up with a full duration concoction. Yeah. It's been a while since this concoction build has been popular, but I suppose with the recent buffs, I think both of the concoction talents got buffed and maybe Dispel did too. So I see that coming back to some degree. he's going. He's going to try for Ramsey. Leading in at the got the damage. Ramsey able to skew off inside. The root ultimate place. Crystallized punching desperately trying to bring him down. Damage will get the kill. Now Crystallized having to pop the ult, start a retreat, and Uppercut beginning to cook up. Crystallized. Status resistance will remove the stun. Now he turns. Just to go in onto Alchemist, and in fact the Alchemist just turns, goes on the win. That's how it's easy. Just now looking to do a second time. Crystallized is going to be safe for now, but it's here.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
He's going to continue around, able to bring us inside.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Enough mana to pull out there, but Young G
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top barracks are under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But coming in there on the mid, and again, it's as you said earlier, you were like, you know, just this potential of the out just being consistently buffed by the Oracle and Omni-Knight have some sort of power.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I'll be honest, it did look underwhelming. It didn't seem to do much at all for Arteezy in this fight. It didn't really help that much at all against the Alchemist with all these constant buffs and saves coming out on him.
It's too much. It's too much, and you have the status resist of the Heaven's Halberd as well, right? So that's going to reduce the effect of the Nullifier. You have the status resistance coming from the Heavenly Grace. There are just too many saves, man. And Na'Vi also, kudos to them, man, because they're not just using them, like they are really baiting EG into going on this crystallized out.
This is some insane stuff from Na'Vi. I mean, again, you know, they were whole map being controlled by EG for pretty much the entirety of this 20 minutes that we've just seen. They were behind 11k whilst having an Alchemist. So, you know, that 11k deficit is even greater because you have an Alch. You expect to have inflated net worth with that hero.
Right.
And now they've managed to punch back at EG pretty heftily.
It's a
Dire's
good draft.
top tower is under
It's
attack.
legitimately a good draft. Ursa is seeming extremely underwhelming. GPK just seems like he's constantly out of mana, constantly running away. The Bloodstone will help, but man, it's not what it once was. That item.
Yeah, the Oracle Omni. This combo. I mean, what's the plan for you? Just absolutely have to find these two heroes at the start of the fight. It feels like if you don't, you're just never going to kill the cause.
It's one of these games where if this is a pub, there's
Dire's
literally
top
zero
tower
chance
is under
for
attack.
Dire to win. Because you have to execute team fights so precisely. I think they need to catch Oracle or Omni in an RP without Heavenly Grace, and then either crit or GPK jumps the Oracle. Like they're going to need to execute 2 backline jumps simultaneously, but Na'Vi is doing so well at standing each other and putting the Alchemist in the front, and also the Ember. Young G,
I'm getting a
he's always in the
second
front as well.
wind.
He's being very annoying. He's catching the Storm, forcing the Storm to use his mana.
Freebie.
Gates swing.
Easy kill for Crystallized, set up there by Young G, and Young G in all sort of the control that
Radiant's
DG has
bottom
had
tower
playing
is
on
under
their half
attack.
map. You know, Young G's, he's not been caught out. He's only died the once this game on the Ember. A very, very solid performance from him.
Absolutely. He's kind of functioning like a little bit of a bait for the Alchemist. Like he made a lot of space
Dire's bottom
for
tower
this
is
hero
under
early.
attack.
And it looked kind of funny, but
Dire's
naturally that's
structures are
going to be
fortified.
how it looks when you're making space for somebody, and it's paying off.
And you're a fan of this as well? You saw just there, Immersion, he's
Dire's
more than
bottom
halfway
tower
towards
has fallen.
Aghanim's on ET.
Radiant's
that's
bottom
a
tower
nice item.
is under
I
attack.
think Aghanim's ET is just something that's been straight up overbuffed in the past. Having that BKB on obviously a much lower cooldown than the actual BKB is, it lets him disrupt. It lets him be so annoying in these team fights, and he wants to put his body in there because it gives that physical reduction.
Ramses.
Surrender
close
to the
Na'Vi
omniscience.
here, but no vision down from Na'Vi. Still EG having the superior ward control in Na'Vi's jungle. We'll get away with this and be able to make make sure that 30 minutes in again, they will hold control of both outposts.
School given.
I am seriously concerned for EG in terms of I don't see where they get the damage to kill this Alchemist.
Sure. Like this Alchemist has absolutely got all the tools to just carry this game right now, Crystal.
Absolutely, because I mean he's getting more and more farm, right? He's going to out-farm you, right? So by the time they get the items to deal with what he currently has, he has 2 more items. Now he has the space to actually farm. So it's not like the early game where, okay, they're just snowballing and so they can kill him. Like, how does an Ursa get the damage to kill him if he's not already killing him? Like, Monkey King Bar? Rapier? It's on an Ursa. I don't know how great that is.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's looking tough for them. They're going to need to get some really nice pick-off, I think. That's how you fight this, is you get fight. You just go pick-offs.
Considering how the game's gone so far, 30 minutes in, do you think, Na'Vi as a side, did they sort of, were they ready to sort of lose that early game and fall behind as much as they did? Do you think this is a strat that Na'Vi has and has worked on that is built to deal with those sort of deficits and come back into it?
I think they probably didn't want to lose the aggro. I think they probably expected to do better in that. But I think the value that they put on giving the Omni Knight solo XP, it is clearly paying off. Like, he is doing so much more saving in these fights. It's just useless because he was against
in time, Arteezy popped the ult. Root comes out afterwards, though, into the sleep. It's a long hold on to Arteezy. They're moving in. And they lock it down any further. Arteezy has to put the BKB in retreat. He's got to run.
So does a level 3 ult. Now that that's been nerfed, if you do bait out the Ursa ult in the early levels, it can be a place for you to make a play because it's got such a long cooldown now. But the BKB, that's a big deal here. If he has that on a, if it's only lasting 5 seconds, it's a lot easier for the Alc to kill the Ursa. Like, Arteezy's looking mega useless in these fights. He cannot do anything. He is not doing any damage.
It's just so hard for him to find a target. Up in the river, set up onto GPK. He's out with the root before the root hits him. The Natus Orbs will certainly assist here as Ramsey's, just as we see with the build, he's starting to go for as much as he can to keep his team alive. The Greaves, the Lotus. And there's the build for Immersion, though. The Axe is now complete. So, now Immersion, he himself, he's definitely not an easy target for EG to go on. As we said already, they're probably going to be considering Pasha and Ilias higher on the list of who they need to find. But this ET, he's just going to be sitting in the fight, putting up a lot of damage, having magic immunity, and just walking around punching everybody, and obviously offering so much up with the aura and the Earth Splitter.
Oh man, if they can get... okay.
Ramsey's quick reaction can maybe punish this. Straight away onto Ilias. It's not going to be able to finish him off though. Ilias able to sneak out to the side with the Ilias. GPK turns over towards Crystallize. But you can feel it. They cannot kill this out. They're starting to have to back away. Arteezy pops the BKB. He'll turn and try and punch into the Crystallize Alchemist. But he's having to use this BKB against a retreat. He's having to run. He's got to get out of there. The Diablo will continue to chase him. Stuart is on. It's just EG, they're just running away. Oh my god! He's going for the chapping. Oh! Crystallize! Oh my god, he actually survived. He's Are you serious? Oh, dude. I mean, but this is just EG on the run. They just have to run away.
Yeah, man. This is definitely Na'Vi's game to throw. It seems like EG does not have the tools. Like, they're going for the Oracle now. They're going for the Omni Knight. Like you said, they know they can't go on pause.
Yeah, as soon as the start of the fight doesn't result in Ilias or Pasha dying, EG's... we have to get out. We can't fight.
Yeah, but even if they get out of them, it's like the one saves the other, and now they have Glimmers, and they have Halberd, and they have this Aghanim Scepter on their Elder Titan, so he can run in and he can be disruptive. Like, they couldn't focus him. It is seeming very right. And I think if you're EG, I legitimately think you probably question the nullifier pick after this game. You think, okay,
it's just
that is what you sound like.
It could have been an Abyssal, maybe it could have been a Monkey King Bar for more damage, because they clearly lack damage, but it has not felt useful. Like, Arteezy has not had a single good fight in 15 minutes.
Are scanning.
I mean, EG hasn't, so of course Arteezy hasn't.
We'll see what they can do with this smoke. EG, I mean, they're running straight at this. Na'Vi, they've got all their ults ready to go on the high ground. EG just outside of the edge of the vision. Artesia heads in. They'll jump to the side. I mean, Na'Vi, they're grouped up in fight. This is a hard fight for EG to start. They do have the high ground with this smoke, but Na'Vi are prepared. They're again just moving around the map, grouped up as 5. How do you even penetrate this team? You just can't get to the back lines.
The armor.
They ping it out too. They know exactly where EG is. Like this spot is literally called the fly spot. Like the pro players refer to it as the fly spot because he's so well known for making this call to fight around it. And so they ping it, and it looked like they were maybe gonna go in there with the Alchemist going first, but they just said, you know what? We know they can't fight us. Why fight into them? Like let them come to us. They can't fight us as long as we stay as a unit.
And Na'Vi just holding strong as the 5. The net worth back to even now as Na'Vi just continue to swing this game further and further towards their favor. Crystallize.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Easy flies out. It's only going to catch Crystallize. They're just going to have to kill him. We see Chicken get turned on the backbone, but it is. He's never get the first bonus up in time. He'll survive. EG's over here now. They've got a bail.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That is what you sound like.
Triple kill for him. I mean, the frustrations have got to be high on each other. Just sitting there asking each other, what do we do? What can we do? We can't do anything. You know, I sort of laughed at you like, oh, one of the downsides of Ursa killing Roche twice, you give the chance for a quick Aegis or refresher shot Roche protects the enemy team. But you're right, Jenkins, that's exactly what's happened. 36 minutes in, Na'Vi, they're able to easily get themselves the 3rd Roche.
What do they get for this? This is a refresher?
Roshan has fallen to the ring.
Immortality.
I thought they were going to give it to the Omni, but for Ember, of course, this is a fantastic axe. I mean, he's doing so much in terms of disrupting these fights.
Young Jig.
He's breaking smokes. He's running in, getting fights started. He's going on the back lines. He's protecting his, he's protecting Ilias. Like, him having the Ags is not going to make this any easier for EG. It's safe to say.
No. I guess that's the thing as well, with the positioning of Na'Vi, they don't really need the axe on the Omni because they're always together as 5. They've been just in a position that's just not allowed EG to do anything. EG cannot fight this squad.
Nobody is ever alone, but they're far enough away from each other that they're not getting double RP'd or double stunned. Because I think, once again, going back, the way that you need to execute this fight is... okay, actually, I think this is Navi's Mango Tree. I'm pretty sure it is. Or is it EG's? What's the vision at? No, it's not. Okay, so it is EG's. I see. So that's an interesting little spot that they're using that to play around. Like, at this point in the game, that's a really good spot to... I mean, you would hope that the game doesn't go this late against an Alchemist, right? You hope to have won this game so far. But anyway, going back, I think if you're EG, you have to simultaneously initiate on the Omni and the Oracle. And Na'Vi has not let that happen a single time.
They just... Every single fight has just been perfect for Na'Vi.
Here I am.
I don't know what necessarily is about it that's meant it's been impossible for EG to ever start with the pickoffs that they want to, but they just haven't. I mean, that last fight was so GPK. He got close to killing Ilias, but he was the only one on him, and Ilias, he was able to get false promise off on himself, and at that point, he committed a battle for a kill that he didn't get.
Why is that? I love how the players admit, but not
Dire's
so
bottom
much.
Dire's bottom
Just saw
tower
Crystallize
has
get
fallen.
RP'd in the last fight.
And it didn't matter.
That is the worst possible hero because he's got all of the status resist. He's got all of this regen. He's got
structures
61
are fortified.
regen and he doesn't have his ult up. That's insane.
What are you going to do about it?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Absolutely
attack.
nothing.
Wands will break.
Radiant's middle
They've got
tower
to do
has
something. I
fallen.
mean, he's taking this tier 3 tower down. I mean, maybe with some sort of deep skewers, they can get him in deep, away from the back.
Dire's bottom tower
But
has
he's just
fallen.
taking the pace right underneath their noses. EG,
Dire's
what are they
bottom
going to do?
barracks are under
This is the
attack.
melee race going. Is anybody on? Here we go. Skewer. In onto the map. They're trying to drag him back. Again, the save's there. I mean, they know. They just can't hold him. He's just taking his racks. And EG's
Dire's
got
bottom
nothing.
barracks
They've got
has
nothing
fallen.
to stop it.
Dire's courier has been killed.
How did the courier? Just runs it. RTZ runs a golden rush
A
onto him.
peace offering. Yeah,
Yes.
please, have mercy. Oh, take the chicken.
There will be no mercy in this game. None at all.
Wow, 12k lead now for Na'Vi. I mean, honestly, Jenkins, it looks impossible for EG. It looks impossible.
It does. I hate to keep saying it, but it looks really, really hard. Oh man, they need to do some crazy smoke wraparound. I think at this point, it's not even about so much smoke. I don't think that's enough. That's something, you know, 25 minutes of this game, so I think EG's probably happy with that. Goodness gracious. Yeah, you need to
Dire
hit some
are
sort
scanning.
of miracle reverse polarity in order to win this. I don't think it's enough to just execute the team fight decently. That's not enough.
And it really, this strat from Na'Vi, this draft, it seems
Fear not heresy.
very impressive. You know, they had very little control in the early game, but they brought it
Radiant
back,
are
and now
scanning.
they just look
Dire's
untouchable.
middle tower
to
is
the
under
stage
attack.
that I imagine in further drafts against Na'Vi, you're not letting this squad having Alk, Omni, and Oracle together. Otherwise, you know you're going to have a very tough time.
You know, at the end of this game, I wanted to say, you just can't pick an Alchemist against an NA team. They know how to deal with it. Everybody in that region is obsessed with Alchemist. They know how to deal with heroes that are farming. And EG did that. But you know what they don't deal with? What they can't deal with is the aggression that is coming out from this Alchemist. That is something you don't see in
He's
North
just
America.
straight in.
He is
Straight in.
right in. He is always in the front. That is not a North American style Alchemist right there.
Dire's middle tower is under
Just
attack.
have full trust in his team. Just able to charge forward and just continue to take these things
Dire's
down. I mean,
middle
EG, they're
tower
sticking together.
has
They're,
fallen.
they're hanging around Arteezy top. They're just not able to accomplish anything right now.
I'm sitting here looking at this, and I don't even think they have enough damage
Dire's
with
bottom
a
barracks
5-man
has
RP
fallen.
to kill everybody in the RP. I think they need a refresher if they want to kill people. A pick off though. That's a good start.
See if they can get the jump. Looking towards immersion. They'll lead him with that Hex, Crit, and the extra card straight now. They'll take the tower. They'll to immersion, but Chris Lice is already just jumping in with
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Arteezy's out for 100. GPK as well. Grabs his Chris chasing down. The stop from immersion catches him out as Young Jesus Lice heading to finish with
I admit nothing but my sadness that you're
G will
gone.
have the means to chase this down for sure. But try to hide with the flame, but the slight change finds him. EG just getting destroyed in every single fight now for the past 20 minutes.
Man, Na'Vi coming into this game proving everybody wrong.
Dude, you gotta check those odds on this game. It's something like 5 on Na'Vi. Somebody made bet on this game. Very happy
Dire's
Na'Vi
middle
fan.
tower
They're
is
very
under
happy.
attack.
Goodness gracious.
As well, they couldn't do anything when they have 5 alive on the bottom lane, EG. They're probably not going to be able to do anything
Dire's
when they have
middle
1
tower
alive.
has fallen.
Na'Vi take a second set of racks.
Feels so hopeless at this point.
Dire's middle
At
barracks
this point, you're
has
honestly
fallen.
just talking about the next game. Honestly, I think you could
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are
Comes
fortified.
out from Ramsey. They do have the fortification. Quick slide and change. Stops Ramsey from being able to try for a blink skewer opportunity. As Crystallize just continues
Dire's
to look to
middle
close this
tower
one out.
has
Takes the tier
fallen.
4. They'll give a little bit of respect to Salty. Big zip comes in for GPK. Won't find a catch. I mean, I think if you're Na'Vi, you probably know that you've got this one in the bag. Do you want to end it quickly, or do you want to make this one hurt for EG? You want to draw this one.
Yeah, I think you go for the psychological damage for the next game.
That's the big play for Na'Vi now. Just take your time.
I cannot foresee a future where EG doesn't ban Alchemist. I don't think they want to get Alchemist again. This to me just proves that Na'Vi, like they know how to play this hero in and out. Like a lot of teams will just feed relentlessly when Alchemist falls behind. He doesn't have a jungle.
This lineup just looks incredibly well rehearsed from Na'Vi.
It does.
This
It
is
does.
an exact 5 heroes that I imagine they've been hitting up in scrims, and they know exactly what to do. Just the team play, it's flawless from Navi here.
It's like they're AI, and they're all, it's one sentient being playing all of the heroes at the moment, at least for the last 30 minutes. I don't think anybody expected this, especially after how the lanes went.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that in the win probability. This game, about 15 minutes in, was about 70% for EG, and as we talked about, it was 20 minutes in, EG had taken the tier 2 down. Like, they're sort of the stats on teams that lose that much map control that early on, but are able to pick it back up and just dominate the second half. That just does not happen every day.
Has been killed.
It does not. And the fourth Roche with a DD on Alchemist. I feel like if you're EG, what do? You just let this go. Just throw your lives in here. I mean, if you're not going to stop this Roche from going down, when are you going to stop him?
I think you have to try to steal the Aegis. I don't think you can fight. I think you legitimately go for the Aegis. That is your only play here. AJ charging in Ramses is going to look to secure up. Chris left out. Chris like get the ult off in time. Silence out his passion. They found the chase here from the Stomp will catch out Ramses. GPK.
I admit nothing but my sadness that you're gone.
GG is called as Na'Vi with a spectacular showing in this game.